Hello patron and welcome back to my life. It's Writer Wednesday where I talk about the art and business of writing and how I do what I do as an indie author. Today is a follow-up video from last week's question from Kristen Stevens, and I'm going to give you my top autoresponder tips for your email list. Brief recap, an autoresponder is a sequence of emails that are sent to every person who signs up for your email list. They're usually used to introduce the person to who you are and what you do. Now, the number one autoresponder tip that I can give you is the same thing that I said last week, which is to do the Autoresponder Madness course by Andre Chaperone. It really is that good. But that aside, let's get into some specifics about how I use my autoresponder sequence when people sign up for my email list. First things first, your first autoresponder must go to your reader immediately, and it must deliver your reader magnet. Most of us attract new signups by offering one of our books for free to anybody who joins the list. This is not new. However, you must make sure that that first book is given to them in your first email and that it goes out immediately. Don't play cutesy games, don't make them jump through any additional hoops to get the book. The first email after they confirm for your list has the link to download it, and that is just to let them know that you are going to deliver what you promise. Second big tip, you should have different autoresponder sequences depending on where people sign up for your list. For example, most people sign up for my list via Facebook advertising, and when they do, they get a free copy of Nightblade as well as 10 additional autoresponder emails introducing them to my books. However, some people sign up for my list from a CTA in the back of Nightblade, and that gives them a free copy of Mystic instead. I don't give them a free copy of Nightblade if they just read it. The 10 emails they get if they sign up that way are similar to the main autoresponder, but they are structured differently because of the different sequence of the books. And finally, some people sign up through the CTA in the back of all of my later books, which all have basically the exact same CTA. And those people get a wildly different autoresponder, because if they're signing up after reading Shadeborn, I don't need to introduce them to my books. They know who I am and what I do. Instead, I just make sure they're aware of everything that I've got going on, my website, my social media presences, and everything like that, and then they're on the list. They're done. Third big tip, you should not send out regular email campaigns to people who are currently going through your autoresponder sequence. My main autoresponder sends its 10 emails over the course of about 30 days. And during that time, the person who is receiving those autoresponders does not receive any of my regular email campaigns. This is just because it can get confusing. Your email autoresponder is a carefully crafted series of emails that all follow one after the other in a logical progression. If in the middle of that you interject between email 4 and 5 about some brand new book you've just released, they're gonna get confused. They're gonna get lost. Fourth big tip, you should pepper your autoresponder sequence with both links to buy stuff and links to more free stuff. My first email gives them the free book. My second email is just more information. My third email offers them another free book if they review the first one. That begins to bridge the gap between giving them free stuff and making them pay for it. I don't expect money from them at this point. I just want them to do a little bit of work. My fourth email is the first email where I try to sell them a book, but my fifth email gives them more free stuff. In this case, social media goodies and extras to go along with the book. The reason for this is that if you just give them the first free book and then spend the rest of your autoresponder sequence trying to sell them more stuff, they're going to think that that's all they can expect from you in the future now that they have gotten the one book for free. Which I guess isn't that bad if that's the truth, but you should always be trying to think of new and better ways to make your email list a great place to be, and that frequently involves free goodies to go along with the other stuff that you create and actually sell to them. Fifth big tip, your autoresponder sequence can, and I believe should, be more frequent than your regular emails. It's up to you how often you want to email your list. This has been talked to death everywhere. Some authors only email their readers when they have a new book. Some authors send an email once a month. Some authors send an email once a week. However, your autoresponder sequence can be more frequent than whatever that time interval is. Mine is, and it's very successful, and here's why. I think. My autoresponder sequence is designed to turn readers into superfans, and I myself am a superfan of a bunch of creators. I know how fandom works. I know what goes on in the mind of a fan, because it happens to me all the time. When I discover, for example, a new YouTuber who I really love, I will usually go back and binge watch every video they've ever created. Same thing if I discover a new TV series that I really love, or a new author whose work I really enjoy. After I've binged everything that's available, I can settle back into the regular release schedule. But if I've just discovered something, I want to consume as much as possible, as fast as possible. By hitting people with 10 autoresponders in the course of just about a month, I become a very big part of their life for that time period, and I try to make the emails fun and engaging so that we're actually establishing a relationship. After that's done, the new slower schedule of my regular email campaigns leaves them craving the same level of interaction that we had before, so that when they get one of my regular emails, it feels like forever since we last talked, and they're very eager to open the email. If you, for example, are a new Writer Wednesday patron, then you got a sort of autoresponder when you signed up. I sent you a list of all of the existing Writer Wednesday videos. There's a good chance, at least I hope, that you watched all of them in a row, or at least the new ones since the series officially relaunched here on the Patreon. And hopefully by the time you finished, you were eager for the next one. And if you finished it, let's say 6 days ago, you were probably excited to see this video appear in your inbox. Now, our dynamics aren't the same as a creator and a fan, but you can see how the same mechanics work to make somebody a better subscriber on your list. My 6th big tip is the best one out of all of them. This is the ninja secret that turned my autoresponder sequence from good to great. I really love this one. Every serious author out there has an email list. Most of them have their own autoresponder sequence, and it is very easy for you to end up just like everyone else in your emails. You have to figure out a way to make yourself really different and really appealing to your ideal reader. First, that means defining your ideal reader. There's tons of advice about this everywhere. Again, I think that the best advice is in the Autoresponder Madness course, but you can find lots of resources online about how to define your ideal reader. Once you've got that person nailed down, you have to craft your autoresponder into something that hits them right where they live, that impinges in a big way on their attention and practically forces them to respond. I mentioned this before, but again, you really do want to encourage response from the reader. You want to talk to them. It's not enough to just give them your free book and then hope they read your emails from that point on. You need to get them to engage in dialogue with you. Once they've had a personal conversation with you, they start to think of you as an actual person, and that makes them that much more likely to actually pay attention to whatever you send them in the future. So this is going to look different for everyone, depending on your personality, who your reader is, what your genre is, but here's what I did. And again, this took my autoresponder sequence from good to great. My ideal reader is a voracious fantasy and sci-fi fan, leaning towards fantasy. They've read most of the great staple fantasy series. They love Star Wars more than Star Trek. If they don't read Marvel comics, they're at least very familiar with the Marvel movies and their relationship to the comic world. Their status as a nerd is very important to them, and part of that status includes being a constant consumer of nerd content. So my first email basically says, "Hey, so glad you've joined. Here's the free book you were promised." But can we be 100% honest with each other? 90% of the people who ask an author for a free book never even read the damn thing. They just pile up a bunch of free books on their Kindle and they never touch them. And listen, if that's you, seriously, that's fine. If you're just stockpiling free books on your Kindle that you're never gonna read, that's okay. It's really no skin off my back at all. But I love people who actually, read books. And so if that's you, if you do actually read the book, let me know, because I've got a whole bunch of other extra goodies and free stuff to give you that is super, super awesome. But you'll only love the cool extra things if you've actually read the book, which you probably won't, which is fine. Anyway, bye! Oh my god, the emails I get back from people who have just been so challenged by that autoresponder. No, I totally read your book. I am such a reader. I read your book in one sitting because I am such a fantasy fan. What are the goodies? I am sure I will love them because have I mentioned that I definitely read your book. So again, this approach might not work for you depending on your personality and what you write, but I just want to encourage you not to be passively subserviently grateful to readers just because they signed up for your email list. You're definitely getting something out of it, but so are they. They got a free book. So make the right impression right off the bat. Make yourself distinctive and noticeable and make them want to engage and somehow prove themselves to you, and they are much more likely to think of you in the future and want to continue to interact and engage with you. And that's the entire point. Alright, thank you once again to Kristen, whose questions have spurred the last few videos I think that they've been great. Thank you also to Felix and Luke, who recently asked questions. I will address the topics that you brought up. They are on the list of videos. They will be made very soon. Next week's video is going to be pitfalls and things to avoid when and if you attempt Facebook marketing. Hope you're looking forward to that one. Again, to the rest of you watching, please tell me what you want to know and what you want to see in these videos. I want to address the subjects that are going to help you with whatever it is you're struggling with. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you as always for your incredible support, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye!